How many of you out there have ever heard the word froward? Proverbs 2:12 says, "To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things." Well, now, when I saw that, I thought, I've never really studied out what froward. Some of you might pronounce it froward, I don't know, but I call it froward. Things, perverse, that is, turning from with aversion or reluctance, not willing to yield or comply with what is required, unyielding, ungovernable, disobedient, peevish as a froward child. I've noticed the verses before, but I just never looked up the meaning. So to be froward is not willing to comply and then go as far as intentionally going against the rules. That's what froward is. The word froward is found 21 times in the Bible, but mostly in the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 8:13 says, "The fear of the Lord is to hate evil, pride and arrogancy, and the evil way, and the froward mouth do I hate." Proverbs 17:20 says, "He that hath a froward heart findeth no good, and he that hath a perverse tongue falleth into mischief." Proverbs 22:5 says, "Thorns and snares are in the way of the froward. He that doth keep his soul shall be far from them." So being froward is definitely a negative in God's eyes. He sees destruction in having that kind of a spirit. So let me ask you this. Are you easy to lead? Do you just comply to your leadership, or do you argue with them? Do you go away from them and complain about them? Do you find yourself always bulking simple commands? Did you know that means that you have a froward spirit? Well, I don't think anybody listening to me today got up this morning and said, "Now I'm going to be a froward person today. I'm going to have a froward spirit." That's just part of our natural being. Maybe you grew up like me and didn't trust leadership. I had to learn how to realize that I'm not really trusting the leader that's right over top of me. I'm trusting God because He's ultimately over top of me. And when I balk against leadership, when I complain, when I intentionally go against what a leader wants, I'm going against God, because I believe God brought all of my leaders in my life. How do you overcome a froward spirit? You know what? Decide today you're going to be a good follower. You got to decide today, did God give me this job, or did He give me this leader? If that leader's command doesn't go against Scripture, then you simply follow. You give up your personal preference in order to be a good follower. That's how you give up a froward spirit. Next, you should probably on a regular basis ask yourself if you're being a good follower. If you find yourself being argumentative, going against leadership, not willing to comply, then on a regular basis, you should realize you have that weakness. And you should use Scripture on yourself all the time to ask yourself, am I being a good follower? One of the scriptures that I pray to myself many times when I'm searching myself is Psalms 139, 23, and 24, which says, "Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting." So ask yourself if you should just comply to this leader and stop going by your feelings. Ask yourself, am I doing right by this leader? Work on that froward spirit so that you can be, so you don't go against what the Scripture says here in Proverbs. To deliver thee from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaketh froward things. You don't want to be an evil man. You don't want to be a person that says froward things. So the only way I know to do it is to be a compliant servant and a compliant follower. Let's try it today. Let's be more careful about our fellowship. Rejoice in the Lord always, and again I say rejoice.